Here's your countdown, motherfucker. 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Vlad and Yazi podcast, where we discuss crazy, wild, interesting ideas, thoughts, stories, and so on and so forth. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Episode 14?
14?
15? 14?
14.
14. Yeah, we're recording a little bit of ahead of schedule of what's actually posted. I'm losing track, but that's okay. We're we're developing a new thing.
As long as y'all get the content.
Yeah. We noticed you guys don't like to watch the full length videos.
No.
We're gonna make you better videos.
We promise.
Shorter. Much better content.
We're gonna keep it within your retention span.
Yeah, good old Vlad and Yazi still though. Yeah,
we're still gonna get some goofy moments and whatnot.
Yeah, but thanks for still watching. I think hopefully we got 150 views on fixed episode.
Yeah,
I think that's what we're aiming for. Yeah.
I think what we're talking about. I was thinking 200, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, we haven't hit 100 on the previous one yet, so I think 150, 100 plus the guest, 50, right?
True.
Okay, whatever. Moving on. What do you got to talk about this episode, Jesse?
I got to talk about Sleeping Dragon. Bro.
Let's do it. Let's hear about your Sleeping Dragon.
About the Sleeping Dragon. Okay, let's get right into it. So this takes part in very ancient part of China. It takes about between when the three kingdoms were at war between 206 AD and 265 AD. So pretty much 60 years in war between these three kingdoms.
I only focused on the AD. Tell me the years again.
206.
Okay, so
265.
Okay, it's after Christ. So we
AD.
AD.
What does AD say?
Okay, after Christ.
No, after. Okay. Anyways.
Yeah, after death of Christ. Yeah, it's in Latin. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it was BC, before Christ. Yeah.
So, anyway, during this war, there was a very great general, and his name was Choco Liang. And hopefully I'm not butchering his first name, but Liang was his last name. And he was a very reputable general. He had very successful battles, and he pretty much built up a very strong reputation behind his name. People feared him. He had many great stories, and this is one of the great ones he had. So one time he was dispatched his entire army to a distant city for them to capture it or whatnot, while he stayed in a nearby small town away from the army and whatnot. And he had only 100 men with him. He had a very great rival at that time. Sima Yi was Sima Yi was a great rival of his. And as soon as he heard that news that the General Choco Liang was alone with 100 men, he rushed in there with about 150,000 troops to capture this general.
Okay.
This cleverest man of China at that time.
So where does this dragon come in?
They just called him the Sleepy Dragon. That was his AKA. But he was they called him the Sleeping Dragon because he always had a trick up his sleeve.
Okay.
So he's just a sleeping dragon. You don't want to wake the dragon up.
I had an actual dragon.
No, I didn't.
Okay. I got myself hyped up over a dragon.
I was trying to get the audience attention. It worked.
And I was like, okay, where's this?
Yeah, now they're realizing that skip. There's no dragons. But anyways,
they would have skipped it. Yeah, okay, but keep going with the story.
Let's get back into this sleeping dragon.
Yeah.
So basically, he had 100 men, and Sima Yi was headed to that city with 150,000 men. Choco Liang got the news that there's a whole army coming after him. So he ordered his men without a thought, without hesitation. He ordered all his men to take down the flags, open the gates, and just hide. Meanwhile, what he did, he went to the highest point of the entry gate, brought a chair, and he was wearing a Taoist robe. Basically, it's a Chinese garment that all men wear despite their religion or whatever. They just wear it. It's pretty much like a robe, and they have very open wide sleeves.
Yeah.
Also, he brought a flute, not a flute, a lute, which is like a instrument. It's kind of like a guitar to strum.
Yeah.
Light some incense, and he started singing and dancing. And like as 150,000 men approaching him, like he saw them obviously, but he continued singing and dancing and just pretty much like acting a fool, just going nuts. So Sima Yi, as soon as he realized what's going on and he like identified that is Zhou Liang, he stopped all his troops and he just observed him, just stood there, watching him for a while, like just watching him. And Zhou Liang did not stop, just continued dancing and whatnot. So Sima Yi just like at one point just retreated. 150,000 men just retreated.
Because of a dude just dancing?
Because of his reputation. His reputation was so strong that it was obviously a bluff. It was absolutely a bluff, and Sima Yi knew it. But the reputation that this man had, that this man defeated 150,000 men without a single arrow being drawn, just by his reputation. There's a story where
that's crazy.
There's a story with him where there was a false traitor, basically an enemy sent a false traitor to Zhou Liang's army to give you false information, and he identified it right away and sent him to get murdered, to kill.
Yeah.
So as soon as they're about to chop his head off and behead him, he stopped it and spared the man's life, and the man was feared him shitlessly, he fucking shot himself basically, and he convinced the traitor, false deserter, to go back to the fucking other army to give them false information. And that's the way he won, few wars like that. There's another instance where he stole the other army's, documents.
Yeah.
Soldier documents that sent troops to different places. So he sent it to distant places. And that was actually one of the tricks he used to take over 3 cities that, held the troops' supply entry, basically.
Yeah.
He sent all their fucking troops all the way the fuck somewhere off, and he just took over. Yeah, man. This man always had a trick up his sleeve, bro.
Yeah, that's pretty wild, bro.
Yeah, man. He was the cleverest man in China at that time. That was his reputation. Yeah. Tricked the enemy to believing. Yeah. He also tricked an enemy general, an army that their general is a traitor, and he took that general because that general is good under his own.
Yeah. Where'd you hear this? Is some Chinese legend? Or
no, I was just reading up some ancient stories and whatnot, looking up some old stuff. It's interesting, man. Chinese history is very interesting. I am fascinated by Chinese and Japanese.
I know they were the first ones to come up with hand grenades and shit.
No way.
They had them in 900, the year 900 or something like that, 950.
Yeah, that would make sense because they're really about their firecrackers.
Yeah. So they basically would put them I don't know if it was coconut shells or whatever, but they put them into a shell of something and plug it and stick it to a rope, basically light it on fire and throw it, and then it would hit, it would explode, and then fire from the rope would light the gunpowder. And
that's pretty sick.
Yeah. They're surprised. Meanwhile, over in Europe, they're still fighting with sticks and shit. I didn't even think they had iron yet.
I
don't know where. Yeah, maybe they probably had iron.
We're not the History Channel. Don't get your history from us.
But I don't think they had knights yet. I don't think they it wasn't knights yet. It wasn't blacksmithing wasn't that developed yet. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think they're starting to get there, but not that. I think the 12.
Yeah, ancient Chinese history is very fascinating, as well as Japanese. The Japanese culture.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I don't know what about it. It's just the discipline, the discipline that they grew up in.
Yeah, I used to do karate. Yeah, so I learned a little bit about Japanese culture. I used to know
the most stereotypical thing you could say.
Bro, I did. No, bro, I used to.
I know you did. I did it too.
No, my sensei was actually a good sensei. They actually taught he was a Mr. Miyagi type person. Wow. He wasn't the other person in that show. What's it? Cobra Kai. He wasn't the Cobra Kai sensei. he was like Mr. Miyagi, and he was like all about discipline and shit, and like in our dojo you weren't allowed to hit. And
That's
like
good.
and
That's
shit,
good.
yeah, and he like everything was about like respect
I
and
went to
stuff.
Taekwondo in Jordan, but that guy was Arab.
Yeah.
He wasn't. I don't know. I thought he was a sensei then, but
I used to be able to count to like I think it was like 50 in Japanese. I used to know a bunch of other different like Japanese words and shit. Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah, I don't remember any of it now. I haven't used it. Yeah, I had my brown belt.
Brown belt, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. What made you stop going?
I joined football.
Fair enough.
It was grade 9, so I joined football.
Another way to kick ass.
Yeah. Like, figured I'd make more friends in football than karate. I was like, high school, nobody wants karate. What the fuck?
Yeah,
football. Man. Yeah.
Karate's interesting. Martial arts is interesting. Oh, man. There's a story I'll tell you about later. Maybe on the next episode. I didn't really do research about this Francis and Ghana. Maybe I'll do a quick clip. Because they already talked about it in Rogan episode, but like this motherfucker came from Cameroon. Right now he's gonna fight for a UFC champion belt, heavyweight champion belt next week. But he came from Cameroon and lived as a homeless man in France for like years. Persistence and like got himself to the US. But anyways, go on.
Yo, so you know how the Soviet Union like dissolved in 1991?
Yes.
So during yes, we are Soviet.
Yeah,
no, we are actually not Soviet.
Really.
I was born in Russia 6 months after the Soviet Union broke up.
Mm-hmm.
So I was born in May, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it broke up in December of 1991. So when it broke up, the Soviet Union actually had an astronaut in space that had like sent in space. His name was Sergei Krikalev. Right, so this guy was like in space, and the mission was only supposed to be like 150 days or something like that, and like he was still on the mission. He like got launched in like October. The mission was halfway through the mission. Soviet Union dissolves, and then like his mission's over. Is like get ready to come back to like the planet Earth, and they're like, okay, hold on a second. The country that sent you up there no longer exists.
What?
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah,
right. Because you can't just say you're from Russia, right? Which country are you from?
What are you gonna say now, right?
Right. Who knows where he was actually from? Like I didn't do my research as to where Sergei Krikalev sounds like he was actually Russian.
Yeah.
But like
could be Ukrainian.
Yeah,
too.
it could be Ukrainian. It could be like whatever,
Polish,
right?
Yeah.
I don't think Poland was in there.
There's no Serbians.
No. Well, no, he could be Polish, but I don't think. No, I'm pretty sure Poland wasn't.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't probably.
No, Poland's Poland.
Poland's
Poland, yeah. But yeah, and so he ended up being up there for 311 days. So like more than twice the length of his mission. Because they're like, yeah, hold on, like we gotta figure out like what country you're from. Right?
What happened then?
Yeah, they just eventually, or they had to let him down, obviously. Like,
why did he go down? He ended up in Russia, right?
Yeah, he went down to Russia.
Now.
Yeah, he was like ended up being part of like the Russian astronaut
But that's
system
such a
a
weird scenario to be in.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
He holds some record for like longest amount of time in space. I think it might even be like for that time like longest consecutive. It's 311 days. It's almost like a full year in space.
By himself.
Yeah, he's always supposed to be there like 5 months or whatever, and he was there for like basically a full year. I think it was like 4 months he was supposed to be there.
At some point in that journey of his, he probably like found some peace in his mind and mentality and
peace. Like I don't know what country I'm from, motherfucker.
Yeah, like how long? For how long are you gonna have that thought? You know, at one point you're just gonna realize, wow, look at me. Yeah. I'm looking at Earth.
Yeah.
And I'm just chilling.
I'd be so mad at my country.
They're not just chilling. Astronauts actually have to do work like the entire time. There's no like chilling. But like at one point,
I think at that point I would just chill. Yeah.
If you're supposed to be there for 5 months and you did all of your 5 months work and
send food and nudes.
He probably had nudes stocked. He probably came with nudes.
Yeah, he came with like 5 months or 4 months worth of nudes.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, he was up there for like almost like a full year. He needs a full year's worth of Food and nudes.
That's hilarious.
Can't just be looking at the same old nudes, right?
Good old Sergey.
Kind of pervert looks at the same lady and jerks out. You don't even know her. Why are you looking at her so many times? It's creepy, stalker.
That's interesting.
What's interesting?
The stalker part. Stalker. No, the whole thing is interesting. Is that what are you gonna do at that point, though?
Yeah.
Imagine like actually being stuck in space and not being able to come back.
That would fucking suck, man. Dude, I'd be so pissed. I would never work for this.
For how long?
Like I would come work for NASA. I'd leave the Russian space agency and be like, fuck you guys, you left me up there. Like, why was it so hard to bring him home? Be like, yeah, I'll just send a fucking rocket. Like, fuck it. We'll figure it out later.
That's what he signed up for.
Right? Like, I guess, but, like, I don't know. I'm not saying NASA would be any better. I would just be like, that's how mad I'd be. I wouldn't just forget about it. Like, fuck you. Like, I'm an astronaut. I just spent 311 days. NASA wants my dick. That's what hop
what
on
if
this
you land and they be like sorry and they like give you fucking crazy luxurious shit.
Yeah, no.
Crazy position.
No, the sorry would have, they made him go on like 4 more space flights and then they gave him like space director. But like who says this guy wouldn't have gotten space director in NASA?
Fair enough.
Right? Like
you have to earn your bones, son.
Right? I'm sure NASA probably pays, but actually I don't know. Russia probably pays their space directors pretty good.
Yeah.
Yo, my tongue's getting cut. I cut my tongue earlier today. I didn't tell you this. I was eating chicken. Chicken. Yeah, okay, just let me tell the story.
Go, sorry.
So I just made me some chicken. It was delicious. So I cut up the chicken. I didn't even eat the chicken at this point. But like I know I ate like a little bit of the chicken, so I knew it was delicious. So I cut it up and I look at all the juice in the knife. I'm like, I can't let all this go to waste. So I went to lick the knife and I cut my tongue. Yeah, because usually I have.
Because you went from the other side.
No, I usually have like dinner knives, but they were all dirty, so I grabbed like one from the actual butcher block.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was like one of my big. Stupid. Don't fucking lick knives.
Don't be licking knives.
Yeah, my like I had to like go outside. And I was just spitting, like blood was coming out. Yeah, it's so stupid, man. Now my tongue it hurts.
Well, you know who doesn't cut his tongues? Pancho Villa, this Mexican rebel that I'm going to tell
hold on. You asked me a question you didn't let me answer. You know
what was the question?
Who doesn't cut their tongues?
Oh, well.
Wolverine and Deadpool. But on that note, I want you to say, Wolverine and Deadpool can't be circumcised because of the regenerative abilities.
For Deadpool, technically,
like
his regenerative ability started at the point where he got chemically altered. So if he was already circumcised, his regenerative ability would not just grow him.
Well, maybe it will, because like his body will just recognize.
Same with Wolverine. Yeah, I know Wolverine was born with it. So yeah, so if he was circumcised, you can't circumcise Wolverine. With Deadpool, he wasn't born with those.
But how do you know, like, as soon as he regained his regenerative abilities, that his like dick skin just didn't like regrow back up?
I think.
This is injured.
I think there's a comic strip about it. I'm sure there is. I don't remember if I've seen it, but I kind of. Yeah. I think there is, because Deadpool gets pretty fucking wild.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. You know what else gets fucking wild? This Pancho Villa guy.
Let's hear about this Pancho Villa guy.
My ear just cracked. This Pancho Villa guy, man, he's a Mexican rebel, bro. He, back in like the Mexican Revolution in 1910, of course, you know, we all know the Mexican Revolution.
Yeah, the Mexican Revolution in 1910. Who are they revolting from? What is this?
Them themselves.
Civil
War.
Did you actually know that? Is that
yeah.
They had a civil war.
They had a revolution there. Yeah. So basically, this Pancho Villa guy, he was basically like a Robin Hood mixed with Don Juan. You know Don Juan, the man that likes to seduce all the women and make them feel love.
Don
Juan. He makes
love. This came in handy.
He love all women.
The camera's up there.
Yeah, he love all the women. So, anyways, this Pancho Villa guy, people loved him for who he was because he was robbing trains and giving it to the poor. He was doing all this like heroic shit, and he read the revolution. Uh, he read the revolution in 1910. They had like a civil war, but eventually got defeated, and they were sent back to up north to a city to a region called Chihuahua. Chihuahua. I can't make that. I can't make that up. Northern state.
It's an actual region. Yeah.
Northern state of Chihuahua. So, anyways, he went back to robbing people, robbing the rich and giving it to the poor and whatnot. But eventually, he set out his eyes to the United States because he was up in the North State, right? And he was like, "Oh, these white Americans." He started blaming them for shit it doesn't fucking make sense why he's blaming them for shit. But you know how people get delusional when they have power and whatnot. So he made an attack on a city in Columbus, New Mexico City in Columbus, and he killed about 70 people, soldiers and civilians. And at that time, Wilson was the president of the United States, Woodrow Wilson, and at that point he was actually a fan of Pancho before he killed Americans, because he was like they made him like a hero, like there's folk tales about him and whatnot. He was very popular. People loved him because for his nobility. But anyways, he wasn't so loved after he killed these Americans. And
I wonder if the
what do you wonder, my friend?
If the drug dealer Pancho was named after him.
Maybe. No, I don't know.
Drug dealer came later. I don't know if it was a nickname. I can't remember.
Well, Pancho's the first name. It's like Vlad's.
No way.
Yeah.
There's no way Pancho's
Pancho Villa.
Vlad's like the most popular Russian name. Say it's like John or Mike.
I never heard of Pancho.
I like once or twice.
But anyways, this
Miguel
Woodrow Wilson sent a fucking army to hunt this motherfucker. He sent about 10,000 troops. 10,000 troops to get this one guy. And obviously went to hiding in fucking caves and jungles. People loved him, so every time some U.S. motherfucker asked them, like, where is he? They just point to random places. Like, he went to the mountains. He went to that mountain. He went there. And they, like, just sending wild goose chases all over the fucking place. Meanwhile, this Pancho guy he's fighting his own government. So, like, you got the U.S. and you got the Mexico after him.
Yeah.
And he's still hiding. Eventually, like, there were stories where he was hiding up in the cave, but it was a higher cave, so he could watch the whole jungle, or whatever. Not the whole jungle, as much as he could, right?
No.
And he's watching the general that was sent from the States, like, going back and forth looking for him. He's just sitting there watching them. Yeah, man. He's a great guy. People loved him. Eventually, the U.S. retreated with 100 and... No, they sent 100,000 troops and came back with the fuck. The numbers don't make sense. Yeah, I have 10,000 troops, but they come back with 1,200, 3,000. What the fuck? Anyways, they come back with less troops, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for fucking this one up. The States came back running with their tails behind their backs, embarrassed by this one guy. Like, it was a scandal. Like people talked shit about American armies and stuff. It was like a bad thing. It's like, oh, you went to get this one fucking Mexican bandit, and you guys couldn't fucking get him with like 100,000 troops. Like, the hell's wrong with you? 10,000 troops. What's wrong with you?
Yo, Mexico's pretty, like, crazy terrain. You can't just, like, walk into Mexico with, like, a bunch of troops and fuck shit up.
Yeah, but I think...
They got, like, jungles, and they got, like, mountains, and they got deserts.
Yeah.
You get fucking everything, bro.
If you don't know your terrain, you're gonna be fucked. Like,
yeah, you gotta
know. You gotta know it. You can't just come fucking...
Yeah, I feel like that makes it worse that you get 100,000 troops. So you're walking through mountains and valleys and shit, and like deserts. You got 100,000 people to like lug around with you.
It's the same
What
thing
that
with like
noise?
the what's his name, Salvatore Giuliano from Sicily. He was also like similar story where he stood up to like the mafiosos whatnot. He kind of banded the people together like this is bullshit whatever, and people were after him. He was hiding in like caves and jungles and shit. Like
Did they kill him? I feel like they killed him. There's no way though. I feel like.
no, eventually his best friend that's like been helping him hide for so long like traded like sold him out in the end and killed him.
Yeah, mafia always wins, bro.
Salvatore Giuliano, bro, it's a beautiful story. It's a beautiful name too, bro. I just love saying it, Salvatore Giuliano.
Yeah, I guess.
Extra Italian in it, bro.
Yeah, say it a little bit louder for the mic.
Salvatore Giuliano.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Yeah, did you, I don't know if I actually ever talked about this coffee study that I read. Did I ever talk about this coffee study that I read? I know I told you I read it a few times.
I don't think you have told me about it.
Yeah, so did you know, like, excessive drinking of coffee will lead you to, like, similar symptoms of, like, psychiatric disorders, such as, like, schizophrenia and, like, anxiety disorders.
No way.
You can develop eating disorders and sleep disorders and shit like that.
Is that why I feel like a maniac when I drink a fucking large coffee?
Yeah, it's possible. Like excessive amounts of caffeine, some people have actually like achieved like hallucinogenic effects.
Yeah, but they must have drank a lot, though, I would assume.
You don't even necessarily have to drink coffee. It's just like the caffeine.
The caffeine itself.
Yeah. So you could do if
like
you
patch yourself up,
like 2,000. You could caffeine pills. You pop like 2,000 milligrams. Like so, the average coffee has like I think go like 40 milligrams. I don't know if I wrote it down. Yeah, and so like most people like will drink like around like I don't know like under 200 milligrams a day. 250 milligrams of coffee a day and more is like the low end like to start like achieving all of these like terrible things. To like really like develop schizophrenia like 750 milligrams and more a day.
Yeah.
Right, but you still got to do it for a little bit, but it'll start getting you there.
Do you get to schizophrenic forever, or does that like kind of goes away?
Oh, once your mind's fucked, your mind's fucked,
eh?
right? Because you're gonna start getting paranoid and shit. And so, smoking, when you like nicotine users, nicotine like suppresses caffeine. So smokers will drink twice as much coffee.
Interesting.
To achieve the same effect as like people who don't smoke, right? By doing so, they're still putting like twice as much caffeine into their body, right? If you can quit smoking, you end up cutting back on the amount of coffee that you end up drinking. Maybe not at first, but you will. And then so like same with
that's an interesting case study though.
Yeah, and so they actually like found that like caffeine is a reward relevant caffeine primes reward relevant dopamine circuits implicated in cocaine use.
Wow, what does that mean?
So
there's a lot of big words you threw at me, Vlad.
so when you do cocaine, your brain gives you like dopamine, right? Yeah. And there's it almost feels like a reward, right?
Fair enough.
So caffeine like reignites those feelings.
Oh.
So if you're like an ex-addict, drinking excessive amounts of caffeine will make it harder for you to not do drugs
because it keeps sending
same receptors. To those receptors. Hey, remember this. Yeah. Hey, remember this. So like it primes them. It gets them ready to go. Basically, like hey, this is gonna happen again. But then it doesn't happen. And then you drink caffeine and go, hey, this is gonna happen again. And then you don't snort coke. And then it's like, hey, this is gonna happen again.
And and they're completely oblivious to it. They're like they think nothing of it. Like I'm just drinking a coffee, I just woke up.
Yeah. So it actually it has found to not only reinstate extinguished cocaine taking behaviors, but also alcohol and like benzo, like benzos is like a type of pills like you can like it's like a whole variety like you can get from the doctor like some sort of opiate or whatever. You get fucked up and shit. Right, so like there's like people get addicted to those.
Wow.
Right, so like so like if
I'm not
you're an
surprised.
addict
People
of
get
like
addicted to fucked up shit
alcohol
all
or
the time.
benzos or cocaine, it's found that like it can reignite those like dopamine like centers again, circuits.
Interesting.
Yeah, and
something to be cautious of it if you're an ex-addict, I guess.
Yeah, and I guess excessive ingestion could lead to caffeineism. A state of intoxication, which is restlessness, agitation, excitement, rumbling, thought, and speech.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That is wild.
So if you ever have like a bunch of coffee in the morning and you're like restless and agitated and excited at the same time and like your mind's just flying, you're like kind of like intoxicated. You're in a state of intoxication on caffeine.
I'm gonna be conscious of it next time I'm gonna get my coffee in the morning. Yeah. I'm gonna be like, am I high right now?
Yeah, because they've always said caffeine's a drug, right?
They always said it because you could actually get addicted to it.
Yeah, you could, and like so. Yeah, this is from a study by the University of Cambridge. It's the neuropsychiatric effects of caffeine, dated 2018 January 2nd. I read a study. Like I actually did this. Like there was a study.
I read it. That's very nice.
I did. I saw it. I was like, yo, caffeine, because I drink a lot of fucking coffee.
Me too. Yeah.
Like I drink
every day.
like you know on the coffee pot like with the 2 is like really like 1 cup.
Yeah.
And 4 is like so I make it to 8.
8.
So I make 4 cups every morning, and I'll drink 2 while I'm having breakfast and I'm getting ready, and then I'll put 2 in my thermos to go.
That makes sense because you're a smoker, right?
Yeah, because I'm a smoker. So I drink like basically I drink a liter of coffee every fucking morning. Right? And I never really thought about it until I read the study. And this is now a few weeks ago. Like I've had this in my notepad for like a while. We just haven't talked about it.
You think you're gonna cut back on the coffee now that you know this?
I did for a little bit. But now that it's been nice out again and I've been working, like I made 10 cups this morning, so like 5, right? Like,
well, now that you're working, you want to kind of
yeah, which I mean it doesn't make sense. And then we got Timmy's as well.
Yeah, the taste of good old shit coffee.
And then I had 6 twisted teas while I was working. So I don't know if like twisted teas have caffeine in them, but it's tea. It's supposed to be iced tea.
Yeah, I don't think that's what you're feeling from those ones.
No, obviously, like you're gonna feel the alcohol, but I've already had 5 cups plus a large Timmy's coffee.
So all together.
Plus 6 twisted teas.
Oh man.
Right? How much caffeine? Oh, I didn't even think about it. That was all just today.
That was just today.
That was just today. Like,
that's a lot of fluids.
Yeah, I was working in the sun today. It was like 20 degrees.
Yeah,
it was
man,
fucking beautiful. Look at this. I'm fucking burnt.
Damn, boy. Nah, I was watching the side of your neck is burned, bro.
Yeah, the side of my neck. Yeah, I gotta put sunscreen on today. I had it in my car too. I just didn't. I didn't think it was gonna be that bad.
Aloha lotion.
I got the copper tone.
Copper tone.
Yeah, copper tone sunscreen. It's like good shit.
No, but like the Aloha soothing lotion.
Aloe. Yeah.
Aloe.
Yeah.
Aloe.
Yeah,
I was pronouncing it Aloha.
Aloha.
I never knew how to fucking pronounce it, man. I never used it.
Aloha.
Aloha. I am in Hawaii. Yo, I'm talking about brain stuff and neuro stuff and anything that's concerned with like the head and the brain. Have you heard of this guy, the railroad conductor, Phineas P. Gage? He got an iron rod, pretty much struck through the left frontal lobe of his brain, like pierced all the way through. Lived.
What? Yeah. Where did this iron rod come from?
He was a railroad conductor, and it just whatever was happening, there was just an accident, and he was just there, and iron rod just like whoosh, went through his brain, through his head, and he went to the hospital, and they were like, "You're alive," and he's like, "Yeah, can you take it out?" And they took it out.
Yeah.
The man lived for lived afterwards, but the thing is, it changed his personality.
Yeah.
Like he was a completely different person. His friends say
Yeah, I would be too if a fucking stick went through my fucking throat like no fucking shit.
No,
like no, would you not be a different person?
Yeah,
like,
you would
fuck
think,
off, get away from me. I don't give nothing fucking shit.
you would think so, but
I'd stay away from everybody. Yeah, I'll walk around with like a fucking thing around. Like, ain't nothing go through my neck now.
Of course, if everything's like, you know, a big sudden thing that happens in your life, obviously it's gonna change you. But like this, it was the first case that inspired the discussions of the damage in the brain that affects your personality. So like the more you have damage in your brain, the more it will change your personality, who you are, how you behave, your daily life patterns, how you think. It starts, you start thinking differently. You start building new neural bridges between your receptors, whatever. Fuck.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Dude, you're always about this brain shit. Why haven't you joined my Pi currency?
Oh, I will do it. I'll do it after this pod. We'll have
everybody, you need to join Pi cryptocurrency. We're gonna share the link underneath. It could be the next Bitcoin. It might not be. It might be. But see. It's free to mine right now. You just click a fucking button once a day to prove you're human. Just fucking do it. You might get rich. You might not. You could thank me later. There's no fucking
we'll see. We'll see.
Do your own research before you sign up, but there's no harm. I'm started by Stanford people.
Fair enough, yeah.
Right?
I read it.
Mind people.
Stanford. People. Smart people.
Smart people, right?
That's right.
Right, so
what else do we got? Anything else for the audience today?
Yeah.
What about the retention? You want to save it for next? We can tell them now. What do you want? Yeah,
I got a shitty story about Cuba. Like, it's perfect for no retention.
Perfect.
I think we might still have some like Spotify listeners listening. I gotta go. I don't
shout
know,
out to Spotify.
Yeah, shout out to Spotify. Spotify's still listening. There ain't many of you, but you guys still holding on tight.
I like the finger pointing at the mic when we talk.
Nobody's watching the camera anyways. YouTube's fucked. YouTube's like 4 minutes. Like, nobody wants to watch our ugly
Tell me this beautiful Cuba story.
Okay, so when Jess and I were in Cuba a few years ago, we rented a moped, right? I had this genius idea. I looked up like famous like places. We were in Veradero, and like our hotel was fairly centrally located. And there was like a moped shop like right outside. It was like it's like $60 like or 60 like whatever convertible like kooks. 60 kooks.
50 kooks.
60 kooks. 60 kooks to
like. I said 60 kooks.
Yeah, you said 50. I don't know, maybe whatever you said.
Whatever you said is wrong.
Yeah. So it was like $60 or whatever to like rent a moped. And so I was like, okay, like I want to rent a moped one of the days. Let me find something in Google Maps. So like then I want to like
fair enough.
Go explore.
That's what I would do too.
I didn't have a lot of money. I was already spending $60 on the fucking thing. Yeah. So I was like, I don't want to spend too much money. So like I ended up finding a pizza shop. I was like, we're gonna get pizza here, like just like probably like Cubans. It was like a little bit further out. I thought it was maybe going to be more authentic. It was more shit. It was cheap, but the pizza wasn't very good. And then so like the main thing that I found, like the whole plan was to go see was like this cactus. This cactus is like 500 years old. It's like apparently the world's oldest cactus. It's like fucking huge. I have a picture of it. We're probably gonna share it. Maybe I'll put it up. It's like all fucking wonky in like every direction and whatnot. Like this cactus is massive. So we visited this cactus, and then like so like we got that over with. It was all romantic. The cactus is like in the middle of nowhere. We drove out to like some long ass point, like on like towards like wherever on Veradero, and like found like we ended up finding it. Like there's like no markings for it. We ended up just finding it in Google Maps, just trusting it. And we found the cactus. We're like, oh, amazing. And then there's some dude, like, you have to, like, pay for, like, $10, like, to, like, see this cactus. What do you do? We're already here. Like, found the cactus. Like, where were you? What the fuck are you talking about? He's like, no, you must pay me $10. Like, whatever. He was like, $10. Like, fuck off. Like, I didn't want to deal.
I don't want no trouble.
Yeah, right. Like, whatever. At the end of
sketchy road in Mexico. I don't know you. I don't know
Cuba. Yeah. But
sorry.
Cuba's safer, but like still, like, and that's where. But this is where my story is leading to. So then, after the cactus, like we still had like half the day. This is like didn't really like take that much long. Like the cactus is literally probably like 40 yards off the road. So like we mopeded there, like we had got our pizza, then mopeded there, and then like Cactus, and then like so it was like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Like, okay, what are we gonna do for the rest of the day, like with our moped? So like fuck it, we're gonna like drive out to the like we're gonna continue down because like Veradero is kind of like a peninsula.
Yeah.
And the city's kind of like on the most inner part of the peninsula. And then there's like the richest hotels, and then there's like this whole like kind of like almost you could call it a conservation area, is like for the most of it. And then there's like a marina at the end with like some the most richest, like the most fanciest like hotels right at the very end. They must have bought their way out of the conservation, like rich people do, right? So the Cactus was in this like wildlife like area, and then so we decided we're gonna do like drive out. We're gonna check out this marina. We're like, fuck it, we don't belong. We're gonna go check out the super fancy, super rich area. Like I don't know what's gonna happen. So we get down there, and it was actually like most of it closed off. But then the marina was like open just to like drive into, and we're like drive into, it, and we're like we instantly realized we made a bad mistake. And it was just like nobody anywhere, and then there's like just 3 cops at the end of the roundabout that we need to turn around on. And I'm like, fuck. Like we're just gonna like go by like I don't know these security guards, the cops. They ended up being cops, so like they stop us as we're like I'm turning around to the roundabout. They're getting stop, like here, like he's like telling me like where to pull up with like the bike. I'm like yeah, fuck. He's got his hand on his gun. Like all 3 of them got their hands. Like, the one guy's still sitting down. He's got his like hand on his gun. The one guy is like smoking, got his hand on his gun. The other guy's like flagging me down, like hand on his gun. I'm like okay, like. What the fuck's going on? Like, this is gonna be stupid. And then, like, so he comes up to me and, like, instantly, like pulls out of his back pocket, like 2 or 3 cigars. There's, like, a handful of cigars and, like, puts them in, like, a pocket. I was wearing, like, a button-up shirt. Like, because I was like, I was, like, oh, dressed all douchey. It's like a button-up shirt, halfway undone, like, only, like, 2 or 3 buttons done, the rest open, nothing underneath. I was just letting the wind of, like, flow through me on my moped, right? It was like 30 degrees, right? But I was trying to like cool off, right? So he like shoves these like 3 cigars full, like whatever, like cigars into my, and then he's like, well, what are you guys doing at it? I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck was that?
What just happened?
Yeah, what just happened? And he's still like, what are you guys doing
at it? He just put cigars in
yeah, he still got his hand in his gun.
And then asked you what happened.
Yeah, it's the first thing he did. I pulled up and like as I'm still like putting the kickstand down, like puts like these cigars, like I don't even like really clue in that it's happened until he's already backed off and my kickstand's down, and I'm like, okay, officer, like now I'm ready for like your attention, officer, right? Because I've got like machine Jess is on the back of me. I'm trying to like I don't really operate bikes. Like this is like my first time operating a moped in like I don't know like 4 years. Like my balance is not the best. I'm like trying to like keep it. I'm a little drunk too, right? Of course, I'm in Cuba, right? So, right, I don't realize that like what's happening right away. And then so like he's like, so where are you guys from? Like oh like we're from Canada. He's like oh Montreal. Like oh. Like Toronto, like oh Toronto. We're like ah fuck, like what's this guy got with Toronto? And then he's like oh like what do you like money? Yeah, money. Like how much money do you have? And I'm like I don't know, like and I'm like stupid. I'm like I don't know, like not even realizing that I'm being robbed. I'm like I don't know. I go like 45 cents. Like what do you like? I got 45 cents. Like it's like okay, like no, dig harder. There's 3 of us here. Like you need more money. I'm like.
Damn.
55 cents.
Is this better?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. Let me check my other one. Like 60 cents. Like, Jess, you got any change? Right? And then, like, I don't know, she, like, digs through. She's got, like, 3, like, pesos or something. He's like, what about the backpack? I'm like, oh, fuck, man. Like, come on. Like, I got, like, 3 pesos here for you. There's 3 of you. Like, there's 3 cigars here. And then I say 3 cigars. And as I'm, like, pointing down, looking at my cigars, he, like, shoves, like, 2 more in my pocket, like, down here. He's like, now you got 5. I'm like, what the fuck? It's like, you're buying those cigars off me. I'm like, man, I don't want to buy any cigars. He's like, well, those cigars are 10 pesos. I'm like, man, I don't have 10 pesos. Like, I got my wallet's like deep in my bag. Like, I'm prepared to potentially be robbed. Like,
Yeah.
right? I've got like some spending money like floating about. Like, my top buck has probably got like another $20. Like,
Yeah.
so like, and then like I remember like, oh, I left like $5. I was drunk the day before. I left like $5 in like the side pocket that just zips up, holds like a pop. And I'm like, yo, I got $5 here. I got zip up. Like, here, this is like my last $5, bro. My wallet, my like debits, everything like back there. Like, I don't know how you want me to buy this. He's okay. This is good enough. Like, get out of here. You're like, you bought these cigars. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't like, no, I got robbed, motherfucker.
Yeah.
And they were like Cuban, like Veradero police, man. Like actual like cops. They weren't like marina security guards. Like they had to like I don't know, maybe they're fake cops, but like
Oh man, I work with this a Cuban gentleman, and he has a very thick accent, but he comes from Cuba. And, like every time I work with him, I was just like get him telling me some stories about Cuba.
Yeah.
He was like he lived there, but like he moved out of there, but like he
Yeah.
went back to like get his brother and out. Like he went through the army and shit.
Yeah.
Like he has a whole story of his own, man. And I swear to God, people like at my work sometimes he's like talking. People like he's an immigrant with an accent,
Yeah.
doesn't get this fucking respect or whatever. Like I don't know. There's people weird. Like people like act weird if you have an accent. It's like motherfucker, he knows 2 languages.
Yeah. I wonder if he like I wonder if he's like robbed Toronto people before and like robbed Montreal people and he's like no Montreal people like give too much a fight but these Toronto people like these suckers because he like most people that say Toronto like you can't say oh I'm from Kitchener.
Yeah.
Right? They don't know what the fuck Kitchener is. So you got to say Toronto. They don't know what the fuck like anywhere. You can say I'm from fucking Breslau. Like I'm from Palmerston, right? He's from Toronto, right? Like
yeah,
right?
It's the closest big city.
Yeah, and like so they're like okay,
like so you hear Toronto, it's like that's the capital.
Yeah,
it's not the capital, but it's like pretty big city.
Yeah, but Montreal is like these French fucks like they lost once in the war.
The French fucks are cheap.
Yeah.
They don't give us money.
Yeah, they don't give us money. Yeah, but no, the Cuban people were like super nice. Aside from that, like I got nothing against Cuba. Like I'm like.
Cuban people are nice. Cuban police are shit.
Yeah, Cuban police are shit.
Anybody that's in the government is shit.
Yeah,
Cuban
government, get your shit together. This is our PSA.
That's right. Fucking Cuba, or we're gonna come after you.
It's like the Soviets.
That's right.
I don't think that's
what they did.
That's not what they did. Yeah, that's not what the Soviets. They didn't go after them.
Yeah, I think they were communist.
We're gonna go after you, unlike the Soviets.
Cuba was communist country in itself.
They're still
communist. They still are, yeah. So I don't think that, Anyways.
No, we're just rambling on now. Anyways.
Ladies and gentlemen, this comes to an end. Unfortunately, everything looks good. Comes to an end.
So,
Adios. Salute. Bye-bye. До свидания. Salam alaikum. Bye-bye.